I hope you guys have something fun planned for Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Tokwe Mark Odige, and I'm hosting the show for today. Just getting comfortable. I have, as usual, Alaja Nima looking very bright and beautiful in yellow. This is so
Figure stitches.
Figure stitches got you. Honestly, you're good.
Should not let somebody be. Thank God. I think I lost weight because this is
you
my
did
measurement.
though.
She has already on default my measurement.
This
and all
fasting
the
worked.
Yes, it worked.
And
Fasting
the other
worked
parts
in a lot of ways.
And the other parts of fasting benefits would come.
Yes. So for weight loss, it worked. And for a lot of other things, I'm enjoying it. It worked, and I'm seeing the signs already. This morning, I didn't find it funny at all.
Get in here, Abby.
I didn't find it funny. It was a lot of disorganization at Maltu until I called. And then when I got stuck in the alternatives, I started seeing clearing ways. And I saw one army officer, because when the army, they are coming from Ojo Barracks, all of us have to remain wherever we are till they pass. After I have struggled to reach front, you know, come and be flogging, but it will kill us here.
I don't understand that part. It's
We'll
so
just die
annoying.
here.
You're driving, everybody is struggling in the traffic. Then because somebody is wearing uniform, they will now tell you to stop. And they will hold a gun and they will say stop. And everybody has to stop till they pass.
It's
so
like
unfair.
I got to Maltu by 6:23, even though I'd been coming from a serious traffic at the back. You're not going to tell me at 7 o'clock when I'm seeing that spot.
So wait.
I should not pass. Let's just kill ourselves. I passed now.
Oh,
How did you
God
do
is
it?
protecting you.
I
I beg, be careful
my
with these
tire
guns.
I
my
passed.
God.
You can't shoot now. You will shoot somebody in the morning.
This girl.
Can't shoot Jerry. But we thank God, Sha. We're grateful to God and counting down to Ike's birthday.
Yeah, it's a Monday.
It's Monday.
It's Monday.
And please, if you don't have access card,
Please
bother
don't come.
coming.
Thank you.
It's seriously by invitation.
Obviously in red.
bouncer.
You see, the way you
I'm not joking.
Are
It
you
happened,
the bouncer?
it happened in the
Thank
past.
you very much.
but don't worry.
Yeah, it's not for her to be telling
Don't
people
get
that.
crashed.
Are you the bouncer?
Please.
I wasn't talking to you. Do you have your
I
access?
have, but it's not your place.
Every time people see BC looking very, you see BC flashy, she's dancing. You don't know how many times, how many, you're not burning candles, generator is on, there's power. But like, figuratively, the candles she's burning, the work, the hustle behind the scenes. You see how we redhead. There is a program coming up how many days from now?
Yeah, next week.
Heavy duty program that she's doing free for teachers. If you're a teacher and you're not registered, or you know a teacher, you've not registered, you're on a long thing, but you're looking very glam. You don't look like someone who is going to be teaching teachers, that is coaching on personal development.
So our children need to understand that teachers can be fun. Teachers, see, we're not teachers because we are boring and we're archaic and we're outdated. We're trendy, we understand, but we know that we need. So if you see me with the red hair, see me putting in the work, you know that, okay, I can put in the work and still be glam.
Yeah.
I can be a medical doctor and still be glam. I can be in STEM and still be glam. So Nurturing the Natural, we are getting ready.
Yay!
It's on the 29th of May, 9 a.m. to 1:30, and you know, everybody's supporting me here. So I'm grateful to God. We've gotten our participants who are ready.
You've not done legal contracts yet for teachers, but I'll wait.
Oh, you can teach me how to do that. We can work together.
No, I'll give you a facilitator, not me.
Oh, okay. That
That's
would make
important.
sense. Yeah.
Someone in labor
Legal
law.
contract for
Yeah.
lessons.
I wanted to
teachers,
say
all
it
of
to you
that.
before I went on the break.
Wow, yes,
What about
we can,
it?
we can.
I thought,
Because the plan is to ensure that we have this at least twice a year.
Which would
And
be
see
good.
how we
so
can,
for the next edition.
for the next one, we can
I'll give you a
add up.
facilitator, the best in the business.
I'm just feeling for Mariam, but you look so pretty. Like you don't look like someone who didn't sleep.
Thank you. I didn't sleep, actually. My nose completely blocked. But we're here, we're good, and that's what's important. Yeah. You know, talking about nurturing the natural, I mentioned yesterday that I've been doing this parenting conference, and there's just so much that I have learned, and I feel that when you do the nurturing the natural, there's some things I would like to share with teachers. We really need to talk about how we see children, like their behaviors and what causes the behavior and things like that. We focus a lot on the tools, like techniques, like the tech, you know, the books. But sometimes, not like the child doesn't want to be the best that they can, is that they cannot be. And so until you find the reasons behind why they are not doing what they are meant to do,
they can't
you never
use
connect.
Methods. They have
The methods are where BC is teaching. She's saying there's even the psychology that there's something
That's
behind
why,
it.
when you understand this child psychology, I've learned practically. Have two different
Very
types of
different
children.
children.
Exactly.
Can't do default parenting for the two of them.
That's why they have
Exactly.
differentiation
And that is
learning.
why I'm actually doing that parenting, because I have children with very different personalities. And I find that with one, I just need to understand the thinking behind
Yeah,
the
so when
doing.
it comes to 21st century teaching methods, there's what they call differentiation learning. So you don't use the
Those
same...
that want to know that one,
We come
they
there.
will come to the parent. Just follow BC online and follow the link. You would register for that free. I posted this morning about thank God it's Friday, and now people go to parties and spend money. Statistically, people spend more money on weekends than during the week.
Yes.
Be wise.
Don't go to parties.
No,
Or
you
don't
can
spend.
go, but be wise.
Don't spray.
We'll go on the quick break. When we return, we'll go through the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We'll be starting front page review with The Nation. Major headline. Anti-open grazing ban. AGF Malami under fire. Governors, senators, lawyers, Ohaneze, Afenifere knock minister. I want to read the quotes, please. It's a good thing. It's as good as saying the northern governors coming together to say they prohibit spare parts trading. That's what Malami said. Clinging to an anachronistic model of animal husbandry is wicked and arrogant. That's from Akeredolu. I'll leave the remaining quotes for the ladies to take when they break down the story. In other news, governors CBN differ on loan repayment plan. Abdulsalami to government, forget projects, fund security. Controversy as Shekau in Boko Haram / ISWAP clash. ISWAP. World Bank rejects debt cancellation for Africa. And bandits kill Emir's son. There's a lot of stories. I think we should start with the governors and CBN. I know Nigeria is broke, so what's going on?
Yes, so I have that story. So the governors under the Nigerian Governors Forum, NGF, had asked the federal government to defer their loan repayments. That's the bailout funds that was given to them. They had begged that, because the repayment plan was actually supposed to be starting this month, but they had begged and asked that they find a way to defer it because most of the states are broke. But the CBN governor cautioned on the consequences of any further delay, saying that this is actually going to affect auditing, and it will also affect especially the loans that are owed to commercial banks. And so it's very important that they repay when they had slated they were going to start the repayment, though they had agreed that another meeting will be held to see how they can resolve the issue.
So what happened to Shekau?
Okay, so he's been killed again, allegedly. Abubakar Shekau has been, from intelligence reports, is said to have been killed by ISWAP during a supremacy battle between them and Boko Haram. And they were criticizing his just methods where they say he burns down mosques and also attacks children and women and children. And so because of that difference in tactics or the way that they carry out the attack, that brought about his killing. Others were saying that no, he was just severely injured and his supporters took him away from the situation. Another group is saying that, well, he was surrounded by these ISWAP people, and when he saw that he could not get away from them, he now set himself, he put the bomb on himself, and exploded himself. The defense headquarters are saying that they cannot confirm this as of the time of this report, but we know that they have said he's been killed before, and that for them, Shekau is not a person per se, but like a title.
Yeah.
Obviously, say it's a spirit. Like a title given to the leader of Boko Haram. But anyway, this is what we have based on.
So anybody can take up that position.
That is their own.
That's happened with the World Bank. They don't want to give Africa.
African leaders have gone to the World Bank to ask for, for debt relief and, cancelling of all the debts that they owe, including our president. And the World Bank is saying African countries can't continue to do that. They completely disagreed, and they're not giving that. And that African countries should. I agree. Because I see it like almost our leaders growing to the level of a 419. Why take loans that you know your revenue cannot match repayment? Taking loans that bring inflation, taking loans that you did not think through completely, and then go back for debt relief. You never had plans to pay.
So Nigeria has the largest World Bank portfolio of more than $12 billion.
Yeah, $12 billion.
So
they also said they had given them $2 billion this year.
Alone.
The former president of Obasanjo got debt relief during his tenure, which we should have built on and, sort of manage our debt profile. But the president is presently asking for another something trillion naira. So
moving on to the Punch, major headline: open grazing / spare parts comparison. Malami under fire as Akeredolu. South stakeholders Lapoon. AGF. Comparing open grazing to spare parts sale betrays terrible mindset. That's from Akeredolu. There are lots of quotes. Nigerian Air Force takes delivery of 26th fighter jet. Chief of Army Staff boasts of enhanced capabilities when we're celebrating 26 fighter jets. So we're boasting of capabilities. The pictures are there. You can see it looks like a fighter jet. In other news, 5 killed as hoodlums clash over election banner in Lagos. Local government poll. Oyo declares Friday holiday. APC in court demands postponement. Soldiers avenging airman's death arrest Lagos residents, destroys vehicle. Ayade becomes APC leader in Cross River. Says state must join center. Police dismiss bombing rumors. 1 died in Obasanjo's library explosion. And we've taken the story of governor's threat to our CBN insist on budget support repayment starting by May. NLC meets on governor's 380 per litre petrol proposal today. Expert warns federal government. Suspend June electricity tariff hike. National Assembly tells NERC. Federal government sets up 9-man panel to address Kaduna NLC face-off. About time. And divert infrastructural funds to tackle insecurity. That's from Absalami. So, what happened?
Human interest.
Human interest. Fourth wife stabs husband to death for implementing new.
Sad story. A woman called Olanishile Nasiruddin, the 4th wife of Mr. Jimoh Nasiruddin. She killed her husband. She stabbed him in the leg because they got into an argument about him getting another woman pregnant. They worked together in an abattoir with the alleged lover. And in their argument, I think he stepped in. So in her anger, or whatever it was that she was feeling, she stabbed him in his leg, deep enough to cut off the veins, they said.
Wow.
And he died. In another sad story, a 23-year-old girl also lost her life. She was running away from her boyfriend, who constantly, they say, is quite violent towards her. And they were fighting over infidelity issues, and she fell. And that's how she fell to her death. The neighbors were so upset because he was constantly violent towards her. They took her body and took it to where he worked and laid her there. But as of this report, she's been taken to the mortuary. And her family members were like, oh, we didn't even know that was what she was going through. Oh, that's it. And that's the River State.
There's another story about soldiers, more like carrying out a reprisal attack. So an airman, according to the report, was under the bridge trying to take transportation, and then he was attacked by hoodlums who wanted to dispossess him of his possessions. And I think they had a struggle. He didn't want to release his phone to them, and then they killed him and left him there. So the soldiers had to come back to begin destroying everything that was around that Oshodi under bridge. They were destroying commercial vehicles. They were ensuring that they took a lot of the bus drivers, carried them into a van and disappeared. So the place has been a lot of people have been in unrest. They are worried that the soldiers will come back to cause more harm. But the police has said that they are investigating already, so people should be calm. They can go about their normal business. I don't know how we can get that light.
It was trending
back.
yesterday, and I passed through Oshodi. It passed again this morning. Apart from the usual traffic, because of commercial buses parking on the, because I'm heading towards Oworo, so I think it's happening on the other side on Agege Motor Road, heading towards Mushin. Because I missed it yesterday, and today was
as well.
Peaceful.
Let's take a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with the front page review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. I want to quickly take a story in Punch before we move into the Daily Sun. 5 hoodlums were killed in Okwoba area. You know, pending the local government election that will be taking place very soon in Lagos State. There was, they are going to have primaries for the APC, I think next week. And in 2 fractional people within, two fractions within APC, had a fracas that led to the killing of 5 people in Okwoba. Somebody was trying to put up their banner. In putting up the banner, another person said, don't put it up, and shots were fired. And a fight ensued. According to one person's reports, people actually went back to bring more ammunition to attack the other person. I don't believe elections should get this violent, and this is a very local, small election. We should not allow ourselves to be used. There's no, under no circumstances should your loyalty mean that you'll be killing somebody or firing bullets or hurting someone. Let's just focus on peace. There are enough people being killed one way or the other already. Let's not even use political issues to kill ourselves. Moving on to Daily Sun. Major headline, which Nima she's been waiting to break down. Fireworks over open grazing ban. It's unconstitutional, says Malami. Those against the ban want killings to continue. In other news, governors rooting for state police inviting anarchy. That's from IGP. Loan repayment. Oshibajo wades into governor CBN dispute. Federal government approves Lagos Airport. 3 others as special economic zones. Why I dumped PDP, that's from APC Ayade. Shekau reportedly killed in ISWAP. Boko Haram clash in Sambisa. Kaduna strike. Federal government orders state government labor to return to negotiation table. No need for military operations in southeast. That's from IPOB. Tension in Imo over death of 2 vigilantes. And finally, a Greek minister admits spending 30 billion on construction of mosque. Wow, woo, I think we should start with that one.
Okay. All right, then let me start with it. So no, the story actually came out, I think, some days before, saying that the Ministry of Agriculture was awarded a contract to build a mosque. So the Director of Information of the Ministry, in a statement, says that to put the facts straight, the memo is authentic and appropriate in all ramifications. It is original and was issued by the Ministry for the construction of worship center for a community of livestock farmers who were sacked and displaced in Borno State by Boko Haram insurgents and are being resettled. Apart from the mosque, other facilities were also being provided, include livestock for farmers in the community, solar power boreholes with overhead tanks, drinking troughs for cattle and small ruminants, water harvesting structures, milk collection center, resettlement abode, as well as other infrastructure. And the mosque was an appeal by the community that instead of going really far away from where they have been resettled to worship, they should also build a mosque. And so they're saying that their colleagues in the media should please next time investigate properly before you just put out headlines that would incite the public that this was given, and these are all the things that they have done with that money. It wasn't just something, and that the memo was not even, yes, and that the memo, it seemed, the way it was reported, like, oh, look at a memo that was leaked, that we found out that this is in public, it's available for public scrutiny, and this is how the money was spent.
All right, fireworks. What happened? What's going on?
Fireworks. I'm so disappointed in the person of our Attorney General. So, the Attorney General of the Federation, Malami, was responding to the Southern Governor's ban on open grazing. And he wanted to highlight fundamental human rights as to, as regards freedom of movement and the rights of the elders to move around the country. And then he symbolized our differences to make a point. That's where I have the problem. You symbolize the division and further expand this secessionist talk by using cattle as against spare parts, saying it's like ban the sale of open grazing. It's like banning the sale of spare parts in other parts of the country. And I'm wondering,
what's the relationship?
What are you saying? For me, apart from the relationship and the lack of it, how insensitive can you be at this time?
Yes.
You understand me? We have issues. Sale of spare parts has not cost anybody's lives. It's a business. People buy their business spaces, they even pay taxes. You have their data, you can find them and all of that. But we have people trespassing. And the right to freedom of movement stops at trespass into a person's property, into people's farmlands, destroying livestock, and even killing people. And the reports arrive and further dividing the nation. And you have the person in our Attorney General, just be reckless. in such description, you know, you completely forget what is law, and then you become a politician because you're now a commissioner for justice, and you forget what is legal, and then you even forget the office that you, because you see the office of the AG is such a powerful one. It's the constitutionally provided office, and he has his own powers, aside that of the president under the constitution, that you would have someone there who is not, someone there who cannot be objectively, you know, unbiased.
So Nima, these buttresses when they say that there are sentiments on the sides of our government in support of these people.
Because when you hear this,
is 100%. They are sympathizers, they are sentiments that supports them.
Totally
and don't realize how this, the fact that we are unable to properly, and because I'm not saying every header is a criminal, but the fact that we're unable to properly identify criminals from legitimate headers is a problem. And then you're sympathizing.
When you have someone who is supposed to be a learned person talk like that, and you have Magba now saying, we are tired of this division. We are tired of being called names. We are saying, stop open grazing. Revive all the grazing reserves. Let the headers go to grazing reserves. And they are looking for peaceful solutions, and you just want to... This is the legal advisor to the president. So you can know why we are where we are.
Well, also for me, just really the recklessness of some of the words that our leaders use. So yesterday we have a leader in the East calling all Igbos and saying, put these differences aside, let's work together. So that's what people are trying to do, leaders are trying to do. He should be seen to be doing that as well. He should have found another way to describe this situation. Let's be very careful, because it's things like this that people will take and then blow up, and you see killings left, right, and center. I've been wondering where it started from. It's our recklessness in what we say.
Responses. I want to commend the SA and the governor of Ondo State very much for being very legalese in his response. So when reckless something like this is happening, you simply say, test it in court. You know, this is not it's supposed to be from you.
Says AGF can go to court.
Let's go to court and test it.
And even the Yeti said that open grazing is outdated.
That's from that's MACBAN. That's MACBAN.
So
no need for military operation. What's going on there?
Yes, so IPOB has said that the current military operation in the southeast is needless, and rather it should be in the north, where Boko Haram has, you know, conquered some communities and taken over. There are so many security challenges, you know, affecting everybody all over the country, most especially in the north, and yet there is no shoot-at-sight order by the president in the north. So why are they bringing that to the southeast? They are also saying that the southeast is not in war with anybody. The only way they started responding was because they had criminal headers who were in the place killing their women, you know, ransacking their farms and all of that. So they wanted to protect themselves, but it's not like they had any plans to have war with Nigerians.
No, but so police officers are being killed in the southeast. Police officers are being killed in the southeast. Police stations are being raised in the southeast.
So there are criminal elements that are actually doing that, and so they should not just finger IPOB.
Moving on to Daily Trust, major headline, how 300 Libyan-trained ISWAP fighters conquered Shekau. We're yet to get information on Shekau's death. That's from the military. ISWAP has fulfilled its long-term mission. That's from experts. Malami under fire for comparing open grazing. We've taken that story. Israel announces ceasefire to end 11-day killing of Palestinians.
Yes,
we're right.
Emir of Kotangora's son killed by bandits. Zamfara farmers must work on our farms before theirs. That's from a bandit leader. Southeast governors to IPOB, MASOB. Give us 6 months to negotiate with the government. Nigerians angry as governors more 408 naira per litre fuel price. Only federal government can tell us how much to sell fuel. That's from NNPC. So let's take the stories. What's happening in Zamfara? There's a story saying, okay, so we could talk about...
Let me take the Emir's son. So the Emir's son, this is in Kotangora in Niger State. He was standing in for his father, this Alhaji Bashar. Standing in for his father, had gone to the farm, and then bandits attacked this farm, and he was shot. Other people also, eyewitnesses say other people who were on the farm were also killed by these bandits. And when they left the farm, they also rustled cattle, and then they, on their way out on the road, they flagged down cars and took people's phones, monies, and other valuables. For those who didn't have any monies on them, they abducted them and took them into the bushes.
So,
so the Southeast Governors Forum had appealed to secessionist groups in the Southeast, saying that, please, we want you people to go back to the drawing board, write out your demands to us, give it to us, let us negotiate. Let us, talk about how we can bring peace to the region. That we know that one of the issues that we're having is because the former governments did not find a way to handle the marginalization. And so that's why we're having all of this. So go back, write out what your needs are, bring it to us, give us 6 months, and we'll try as much as possible to resolve this. I am happy with that. They are seeing that even if they are divided and everybody's killing them, they are still their children. We're still the same. We're still one Nigeria. So if the Southeast governors can really hear them out, hear them out, and find ways to resolve it, I think this will...
That's all we can take on Front Page Review for today. When we return, we'll go into various hot topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back to the show. Thanks for staying with us. So, a young man has taken to social media to seek advice after causing his parents' marriage to collapse. According to the report, he caught his dad cheating and reported to his mother, which led to their separation. Being the cause of the marriage dissolution, he chose to be with his mother until she passed on after getting involved in a car accident, which he blames himself for. So what are your thoughts on this? It's a heavy story. I don't want us to trivialize it. Call us or tweet to us. The numbers to call is 081-270-53687. Or you can call 091-390-76984. It's a very, very, when I read it, I just really felt for the poor boy. So they didn't mention he didn't mention his age when he found out. 19. Okay, so a 19-year-old found his father cheating. Reported to his mom. The mom separated, divorced, got involved in another relationship that was abusive. And stayed in that relationship up until when she died in an accident. Now, this boy is carrying that trauma that he is the reason for his mom's death and the marriage breakup. Where do we even start from? Nima, do you want to tackle?
I think he's a victim. I looked at it. He's a poor young boy destroyed by the father's excesses. I think at 19, you don't think of confronting your dad. You just get upset and do what he did. You talk to your mom. Except maybe some children that we used to call them special children. Those ones that have inside eye. They have elders' wisdom. But a 19-year-old, you flip now. You talk to whoever. And if you feel that your mom is being cheated, you scream, "Mommy!" And you don't run to grandma or somebody. You just, I will tell for you, and that's what a 19-year-old does. There's only a few of them who are mature at age that will do differently. I think the father should be the one with the guilt. Now, the mom, because our tradition in Africa, you leave a marriage, and it's valid to leave a marriage if you think cheating is not your deal. If cheating is your deal breaker, you can't take it. It's valid to leave a marriage for that. But she left. She then went to an abusive relationship and thought, I can't go back. People will start laughing. And so she stayed. This is an adult decision that is tough. This is separate from this young boy again. So double trauma for him is to watch his mom being abused and not have anything to do about it, because he stayed with his mom and not be able to do anything about it. And, just being helpless there. In all of this for me, and then losing the mom again at the end of the day and not having a parent at all. So this poor young boy should just, calm down. Yeah. He's the victim in all of this, as far as I'm concerned.
When we watch, Oyinbo movies, you hear them talk to their children, it's not your fault. This is not your fault. And I don't know if, as Africans or as Nigerians, we have that culture of sitting our children down when parents have issues between themselves, and knowing that ultimately it will affect the children. So for me, it seemed like this boy was not included in the conversation after it had been confirmed that the father was cheating on the mother. So probably there were lots of fights in the home, and he saw all that. And for himself, he would think, I caused this, And some people unfortunately, I don't know if that is his case, would even have the parent that leaves and say, well, it was your fault, or the father mentioned it was your fault, or people would say to him, this, you know. So it would have been better if he had that situation where this is not your fault. This is something that I've decided to do because I cannot accept it. That's the mother saying to the father, to the son,
boy.
and the father saying to the son that, do not think this has anything to do with you. What I did was wrong to your mom.
Imagine their parents that are whole, that made a decision, not emotional decision. Most people that get divorced here is an emotional
so that's
decision.
what I'm saying. So if you have that, if you have that sort of conversation, by the time you leave that situation, you won't go about with that mentality. And even if you do, it would not be as bad as in this case. So I think just going forward, you know, I would say to the young man, it is not your fault. I know that it may seem that way, but it is truly not your fault. Your father made a decision that affected the whole family, and that is why that marriage broke down. Now, concerning her moving on to another marriage and then finding herself in a toxic situation, it is not your fault again. Your mother made the decision to stay. And you may have seen that, and I want to even believe that she may have had conversations with him concerning where she was at that point. And the child just, I mean, the man needs to know that adults make decisions for themselves. And as children, sometimes you are helpless as to how to affect that relationship as it is. So the best thing is for the man to find ways to heal himself. Therapy will work. For people who are like church or mosque, they have people who talk to them and can help to build. Well, in churches, I know they do.
It's not religious places that you go.
Build you.
So sorry, no verse. Make I just drop this thing. It's not religious places you go. I don't know for churches, but for mosque, please don't go to your nearby afar. They destroy malls and they make one.
You need
Please go to professionals, people who can detach themselves from the things that they're telling you and objectively look at it, and then you don't destroy a person's right over another. I know someone who's living that life now. It's not a good person.
Yeah, so I think the child, the young man, is not a child, is bearing the burden that's not his own. And because we are in Africa, I've grown through that phase where parents constantly blame their children for the decisions that they make that doesn't work out for them, especially when it comes to marriage. I grew up in a home where I was constantly blamed for my mother leaving. I was very young when it happened. I was not even talking at the time. But for every day, I hear things like, it was your fault in words and actions. And that sort of affected me. So I really do not understand the sort of upbringing he had, even after the mother left. He could have gone with the mother, and the mother constantly blamed him for, for being the one to let the cat out of the bag. So you could have, why did you have to tell? Yes, why did you have to tell me? And he could have grown with that, into adulthood. And when I read the story, I saw the part that the siblings as well, I think the elder siblings sort of also blamed him for, reporting to the mother what the father had done. So you guys have actually said everything, but I would say that as parents, it's our responsibility to take responsibility for our actions and not put it on poor, innocent children. They have their own lives to make, and we should be very careful so that we do not mess up with their psyche. This person now is afraid to get married because of what he has been through. So if we're conscious of that, like Miriam said, we keep reassuring them that this is my decision, it's not your fault.
We have a call from Benue. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
We lost that.
When I read the story, what just occurred to me was people need to realize that information is neutral. Even what you call negative is you that gave it in, is you that call it negative. Information is neutral. You caught your father cheating. Neutral. So somebody is negative. Another person, a man is entitled to cheat. So that information is neutral. It is your interpretation. When you gave information when he gave information to his mother, the mother could say, all men cheat, just leave him
and ignore it.
So it is not his responsibility to. It is not his. He shouldn't take the responsibility for how somebody interpreted that information.
That's one topic. But you also know that
because many times we say things and somebody takes it another way, and you need to understand first that what I said, I did not mean it the way you took it. So first I must remove myself from taking responsibility for it, and ask you, why did you take it that way? because now he is taking responsibility for the information that he gave his mother.
And how they reacted.
How his mother reacted to it, and how that sort of like destroyed their family.
Yeah, so do you know that, I want to still take it back to the parents. Do you know that some young adults or children could have seen something like this and decided to keep it? And it became a huge burden on them.
Yeah.
It affected their lives in negative ways. And you're wondering what's happening to this child? What's happening to this young adult? Because they didn't say it. So they bear the burden. Now, the parents, exactly, the parents need to see, every action you take has a consequence.
100%.
Take your actions, but don't run away from the consequences. And don't put it on anybody else around you.
Take responsibility. Let's take Naomi from Kaduna. Naomi, welcome to the show.
Thank you, ladies. Good morning. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Yes, you guys are doing a very great job.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry about this case. The mother is gone already. There's nothing that can be done now. But my main concern is in respect of women who go about chasing other women's husbands. I don't like it at all because such a situation will always bring a friction in the family. It's not every woman that has the stamina to go through her loved ones being carried away by another woman. Nobody likes competition. So my advice is to young girls is you should stay off married women, especially those of us that are not supposed to marry second wife. Look at this boy now. He will just grow up with the stigma that he's the one that caused his mother's death. I'm not happy about that one, but a counselor can help him.
Yes.
Thank you very much. God bless
you,
you.
ma'am.
So Naomi went somewhere else with staying off married men. But it's sort of.
But it could be the married man chasing the young
Exactly. Well, that every situation is neutral.
Sure, yes.
What happened is the way someone reacts to it that's important. But I
just
like what
wanted
she
to
wanted to
respond-
build on.
May I respond to what Tokwe said about maybe another mother would have heard it and said, oh, you know, it was nothing, or that's how men are, you know, and explained it that way. And I think also you alluded to the fact that maybe if she had stayed or something, it would have affected it that way. But for me is that many women now, we hear the conversations where they say the way you decide to live in your marriage tells a story to your child. So for me, it spoke, the first lesson that boy learned may have been that cheating is bad and it's not acceptable in a marriage, and there's nothing wrong with that message. And he may have learned that as well, that when I go into my marriage, cheating is wrong. So I don't think it would be right for her to tell him, oh, that doesn't matter, that's how men behave.
No,
Secondly, when she stayed in a toxic marriage, she sent him another message, which is, cheating is not acceptable, but beating violence is.
Oh, God.
Do you get it?
We'll take a quick break when we return. We'll dig further to provide solutions on how to deal with these situations where we confront them. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So before we went on the break, we were discussing this very important topic about the impact of our actions and inactions on our children, and how we should take the time. Because I like what Mariam said. From what I said, it will come across as maybe if you're cheating, stay in the place because it might affect your child. But I think the first point Mariam made addressed that situation, which is always take out time to let the child understand I am the adult here. So if you're making any decision that might affect your child's life, take the time to make your child understand that I am the adult, I'm the one responsible for you. This. What you said did not influence this. Some children take this trauma all through their life. They feel maybe because they failed in their exams is why, or maybe because I was causing so much trouble. My parents now decided to break up. I'm a troublesome child. I wasn't a good child. Be deliberate to make the child understand you are not responsible for this. I am making a decision as an adult here, what I think is best for me, and I feel I'll help you on that journey as well.
I wanted to build on what BC was saying earlier about, how the impressions that you give your child as a parent, the father in this case had lived a life that, affected that child, not the other way around. You as a parent are your child's first role model.
Yeah.
If you cheat in front of your child and he witness cheating, what he reacts to is a bad parent. So most of us idolize our parents. I can't even imagine my parents doing certain things. And so I'm extremely careful the kind of things I do around my child. I know I have my excesses or shortcomings. I try to keep away. And as much as possible, be their friend, so that once in a while, I say to them, I'm a normal person. This and this. Yesterday, the church behind my house was singing a chorus in Igbo that I sang all through primary school. So I joined, and at some point, in Urobo, at some point I started doing the abo, just playing in the kitchen. And my daughter was like, you can sing it and you can even dance it. I said, I'm Bendel. And then I grew up here, and I went to Christian school. And to her, it sounded strange because I put my child in an Islamic school all through her life. And she couldn't balance it out, I had to say that to her because she would think it's not normal. And so imagine if it was an extreme opposite negative behavior that I exhibited in front of her.
Yeah.
And you must, as a parent, be the one to take that responsibility. Don't give your child. Some kids will see their father do what he did, hate him.
Internalize it.
Internalize it and just be looking. So I have friends who monetized it, who caught their fathers cheating.
Collected money.
Yes, they made money from it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
But
that's a huge problem.
I don't know which angle you're going to be see, but you mentioned it a bit. She mentioned it again. The fact that parents are like the idols that children look up to, and when they do things that are wrong, and we don't report them, we disrespect those parents. Many of those children disrespect those parents because they feel like if you know you shouldn't cheat, you're cheating. Any other thing you say, I'm not going to believe it, and you cannot beat me because I know what you did. So like it's like a character, and it might have influenced them. But what did you see it that way? Did you see the impact of a cheating? Let me not use cheating alone because there are many other things
So I wanted to go into other aspects. So take for instance, you are the sort of parents that lies. And you lie blatantly everywhere. That people come to look for you and you tell your child, you're inside, tell them I'm not around. And that child goes there and tells the person that you are not around while the child knows you are around. So there are certain things that, most of the parents of the past, I want to say were ignorant of how their behavior affected their children in different ways. So it was more like do what I say and not what I do. Yeah. But we have learned over time that children actually do what you do. If they're afraid of you, they may not do it in your presence. But they do it. Trust me, they are piling it up. And when that child becomes, free enough to face you and do it, you'll be wondering, hey, I tried my best. I trained this child. I suffered. I labored. Where is this child picking all of these attitudes and these habits to? So my advice because we're trying to change the narrative and help young parents like us raise better children so we can have a better society. Be very careful what you do as a parent, as an individual, because they are watching you. They may look like they are not seeing you, but they are paying attention. And somebody told me something. They said, we become our parents at the end of the day.
At the end of the day.
Over the years. I'm looking at myself now. I'm seeing similarities to some of my parents. I'm seeing some traits that I didn't like in them that I was. And I'm seeing, and I'm asking myself, no, I never believed I would be this or I would do this. But over time, it just has a way of coming back at you. So we need to be very careful as parents. We need to be very careful. We need to be deliberate. Once you give birth to a child, you are responsible for that child. And that means that every of your actions, every of your attitudes needs to change in a way to build a better human being, or else you will just lose it.
I wanted to come to Mariam because I know she's doing a course on parenting. Broken parents will raise broken children. A broken parent will raise broken children. So as a parent, we need to understand that our psychology and how we feel is important so that we can give out of the abundance of ourselves. Because if we don't deal with the issues we have, we would invariably transfer those issues to our children. But my question is, if a parent does not know they even have a problem, where do they start from? Like, they don't even know. What would you say are the highlights that you've learned that shocked you? Like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this anymore.
Yeah. Let me tell you one thing that came to mind, that if I had known a lot of the things that I know now from this conference and just talking generally, I may not be a parent. Because the moment you realize that this is work, it's not just about popping mini-me's and dressing them cute and having them speak well and being educated. It's somebody's life that has been put in your trust and in your care. You have the responsibility of raising that adult to be well-rounded and well-adjusted to the life that they're about to. And some mistakes and everything will affect them for the rest of their lives. If you have most of the information that we have now, you'll be very careful about taking that step. And so I know for many of us, we even started from a point of less information. But thankfully, many of us realized we were putting our legs in and we're doing well. There's something else I learned which is important, this parenting, which is, yes, you've made so many mistakes. But the moment you learn the right way to do it, you repair. And that sometimes that raising a child is not always about having a perfect way of raising a child. Is that, there are bumps up and down, but when you repair, you help build resilience in a child. So the child also understands how to respond in a situation that is not so ideal. But the important thing is that when you make a mistake, you repair. When you make a mistake, you repair. So for this young man especially, for me, I think it's just so much trauma. But then when he builds on himself, I believe he will make a fantastic father and a fantastic husband.
There's tweet I want to take, and I'd like to respond to it. Faji says, ladies, stop making excuses for this young man. It's sad the mom died, but the man shouldn't have told his mom. Really? A 15-year-old found his dad cheating and never told his mom. 40 years after, the parents are still together.
Wow.
What
and
he
how
doesn't,
did that 15-year-old behave?
He's not looking at that. He's looking at the marriage being together. He's not looking at the quality of marriage. And like I said, everybody reacts differently. Yes. I know my friends who monetized it. I know my friends who covered up, who picks the call and say, okay, it's my friend calling, not my dad's. I gave them my dad's number by mistake for their
I will
parents.
monetize
when we were growing up, it was enough. I used to say to my dad, if you like to take a second life, I'll be in support of you, 110%. I didn't want that to be an issue within their home. So I know people who, but not all of us.
If you catch someone, you tell them, I'll tell mommy.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying.
But also, I think there's something that we're assuming as well, that the mother did not know anything about it until that child said it.
That's another thing.
Because she may have been upset more that you did not keep it discreet enough that our child did not know. So you become so cavalier about it that my child even understands what you're up to. So she may have known that this is what's been happening.
I think that we should focus on the quality of life we're living. This Twitter user, and I'm sure there'll be other Twitter users.
Yes, no, but people have this mindset. I just wanted to
you don't say everything you see.
That he did not say does not mean he wasn't affected badly by what he saw. So he might end up a cheat himself, or just hate his dad, or totally not respect him.
And disrespect.
A lot of things will go wrong in that marriage. So you as a parent, it's still you. When you're living a certain life, there are times when you have to weigh the life you're living and the possible consequences of it and see whether this is the time to let go of this bad habit, or or live with whatever it brings to me.
So the fear of drinking, the fear of children having drug abuse, drinking recklessly, smoking. I just keep in my we have a bar, and occasional take a drink. I'm now telling myself that your children are growing up seeing you taking wine, and they say no, wine is for adults. Mommy drinks wine in the evenings, is for adults. And they will grow up thinking every day you should. No, I don't drink every day.
They see you weekend.
They'll say it's okay. And in my head, I'm thinking, I know how to control myself. I know people around me that they cannot. Whenever they start drinking, they cannot stop themselves. If I take a glass, I'm done. I'm okay. I can even not finish the wine. But some can't. So my ability to control myself, I might not be able to impact that exactly on my children, but they will see that I'm drinking. They will not understand. Mommy only takes a sip and stop. So we must realize that sometimes we would make sacrifices as parents of things that we love, but we know that your children are looking at you and they might not be able to control. They might just go behind the back and drink, and then something will happen. Please.
Okay, so let me build a bit on that. So yes, okay. So I know that when things happen, like she rightly said, children react differently. I grew up in a house that there was booze every day, and there was smoke, you know. But I reacted differently in the sense that I was able to tell myself that I didn't want this. And as I was dating, if I perceive the smell of cigarettes, we can't date. There's nothing, and I've never tried cigarette, not once. That is me.
Yes, you grew up in that.
Yes, yet I grew up in that environment. So I think the bottom line is being responsible in enough to, like, I like your explanation. This is there's a time for this.
Yeah.
If you choose to, is an option. Not every child would want it. Not every child would not want it, whether you do it or not. It has nothing to do with you.
True.
But you can find a way to, if you're that type that you can't hide, because the thing is, if it's okay, let me do it outside and hide it, they will still find out.
They will know.
That is even worse. But if it's something that you indulge in once in a while, you can make it plain to them that this is me as an adult.
Yeah.
This is what I have chosen to do. If you become an adult and you say you want to go this way,
this is how
this
you
is
should
your
do it.
choice. This is your consequences.
We're going to be moving on to another topic. We'll take a quick break. When we return, another very interesting topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. According to a Twitter handler, a number of primary school buses are on the road very early, 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m. to pick up school kids, and he finds it worrisome, and so do we. And there are some reasons behind parents letting their children get out of the house at odd hours. For example, some parents have to leave the house very early to get to work. So the question is, how early does a 4 to 5-year-old kid have to wake up in order to get to school? You can join this conversation by calling us. The number will be on the screen, or tweet to us, #View TVC, so that we can read your tweets. Now, this thing, I was on this table before because I wanted my kids to use the school bus. I think I didn't have a car then, and I think it was only my husband that had a car, and he doesn't like waking up early, so it was a case of the children will get to school late, so let's use a school bus. And the school bus picks up my kids, as in they get to the house at 5:30, which meant the kids had to wake up at like 4. Like my children were sleepwalking. They sleep till they get into the bus. I know you are pouring the water, you are washing, but they are sleeping. We did that for 2 terms, and I just could not. I'm like, I can't do this. It can't work. It was convenient even after we got a car, but it just couldn't work because it was just so. I felt it wasn't fair to them, and even though we made them sleep early, it just was not normal to have your children out of the house that early. But Nima, what has your experience been as a parent?
Because you're on the table.
I lived the guilt all my life. Before I was 2, when I had to put her on the bus before 6 every morning. 2, and I had to drive behind the bus. Initially, I had to drop her off, and the family member I was dropping her off at 1 year, 4 months when I joined the show wouldn't take her all through, so I say her weekends. I wanted to stop her, wean her out of breast milk at the time and drop her off completely with this family member. So she has the normal quality, because I know about sleep. My parents would wake me up with a kiss, sleeping my normal sleep, even as Agbaya. So I can imagine my child, and the person wouldn't take her. So what I did was wake her up every day at 3:30, get her ready by 4 a.m., drop her for that family member. I didn't have a car then, so I had to walk and then walk to school to get to the office here. And then I thought a solution, a better way, was to get her into a school that had a school bus. It only reduced the hours, but at the same suffer, because this time around, she's the first child, a 2-year-old young girl, in a bus driven by a bus driver. The conductor, the manages the kids, was a male teacher, and I'll start driving behind the bus with guilt till I get to Alakija. Every day. My husband used to think, get over it now. She will grow up, she'll be fine. I just never thought she'll be fine. So the guilt every day for me was tough. Even now that, I've sort of sorted things out, I make sure they get up at 6 now, they take their time to take their breakfast. It's still not working because they still drag sometimes. They sleep late. We're still battling a lot of things. And I have someone safely drop them off at school. We then have to face trucks and everything. So as a parent, you're constantly wondering. Yeah. But that early morning, as if, you know the one that used to break my heart? The school will say, first pick, first drop. But then they'll not say no, because the side where you are living.
They'll pick you first.
And they'll go around before 6. And then come home past 6. My office she go.
At what age?
So the school knew me. I would come there. I would say, other kids that they picked late must follow her home and follow back. It was selfish, but I just, just kept flaring up at some time. What I did was take her out of the bus system, took ownership of the transport system, and now we are safe. Because if you depend on that bus system, you might have to just make certain compromises that will not be good for your child.
So from my own personal experience, as a child growing up in Jos, my mom, especially during the Harmattan season, she would wake us up with hot water bottles. Those rubber ones that they put warm water inside, and she would tuck it under her pillows and whatever. And then she would wake us up with the marmite. That's food that had been cooked the night before, some days before. She would warm it and she would give it to you before you now finally get out of bed. But then it was just, you would take your time, you get to school, and you will still be early. Then I now come and get married and I live in Lagos. Then, foolish me, I said, no, where we're living, I don't really like the schools around there. So I wanted him to go farther, a baby. And I will carry that child all the way. My husband, with many years of experience, said, Madam, this is not the way to do it. I was like, no. I must give my child the right foundation, a child that could barely speak. And I would take him there, and he was always sick. He had to sit me down. He said, there are things that are important. His health is more important. His other development is much more important than where you drop him to spend many hours. And so we took the decision to be close to home. And we did that for the second one. He started very close to us. The father put his leg down. He said, this one, she's not even leaving this place at all. This particular area at all. And for me, I feel like in many ways, she's even more well-adjusted than, first child, they say you use them for all sorts of experiments. So for me, also, because I see many parents, it's not only primary school children. For me, I even feel to secondary school. It's sad that our children have to be getting on buses quite early in the day and going very far distances to school. I really wish, I think abroad, what they will do is they insist that your children go to schools around your community.
It should be nice if you get better
school. If you get better school now. So for me, I was lucky the first 2 kids I had, because one of the reasons I decided, the first job I got was to be a banker, but then Oga was the banker, and I was calculating if 2 of us go out early in the morning and come back late at night, and I want to raise kids, I don't see how that will work. So I opted for the teaching job. And I was lucky when the kids started coming, we were in the same school. So I would take them, we go into school together. While I'm doing my lessons, they are done, they can stay with me in the classroom, and then we go back. But when we moved, and I had the third one, the kids had to find another school where the school bus, they had to leave very early in the morning, come back late, 6 p.m. and all that. And now we've moved again. The 2 are in the boarding house now. And the little one has to wake up. So she leaves the house the school is not so far from the house, about 7 o'clock.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and comes back by 4, 5 p.m. But the thing I want to say is, I feel that I understand the importance of sleep because it helps the children's brain development, statistics and science and all of that. But I feel we're not raising our children to be as strong as we are. I remember my husband's story. He would take bus to primary school, like 2 buses. He grew up in Lagos. Hold on. We had Bomo back in the days now. 2 buses, to and fro, they were in primary school. And he did that till they left primary school, him and his sister. And now we can't even let our children cross the streets. I feel we're not raising them to be resilient. I feel because of what we went through, we try as much as possible to shelter and pamper and all of that. And I feel it may not be good for them in the long run because the truth is, life can be tough. You may not have it easy. You don't know what is going to happen to any of your parents. Can you stand on your feet as a child and survive? Are we raising our children like that?
There are many angles to raising resilient children, and many times there are many ways to raise resilient children. We'll talk on that. We'll take a quick break when we come back. Yes, we'll talk more about those safe ways to raise resilient children. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we've been arguing a bit during the break, but Bisi's story actually reminded me. Sometimes I've actually forgotten that my primary school was in Ilupeju, and I grew up in Amuwodofin.
Imagine.
So before there was pedestrian bridge, my dad would take me across that express.
You take bus.
And I take a bus. Before he used to take me, at a point from like primary 3, primary 4, he would take me across, and I would take the bus.
And you were an only child.
And I'm an only child. So I knew how to get to Oshodi. From Oshodi, my school is in Ilupeju, so they dropped me in Oshodi. I would have to take under the bridge, cross the railway.
In the old Oshodi.
In the old Oshodi. And go to that industrial layout and take Coca Road car.
By yourself.
By myself.
Emphasis, please.
And I was able to do that. And when I get transportation, my transport money, because I want to save small and buy sweets, I'll take Moluwe on my way back from Oshodi.
We are seeing it in your life.
Instead of taking the buses that will cost me more money, Moluwe are half. Standing is like water.
Oh my God.
That's why I like this.
I did that primary 5 and primary 6. And my parents, I don't think they felt I was suffering. Because I was growing, and they felt they were building me. I didn't even think I was suffering. I didn't think it was bad. But somehow...
Were there other kids doing what you were doing?
Not in my school. You see, I went to a very tush school. And I was like in the lowest rank in terms of wealth. So I had rich people that they used to drive their car to pick them up.
Now.
Yes. So they bring cars to pick them up. And me, I will take bus when I'm going back home.
It doesn't matter.
So I sort of understood very early that I didn't have that advantage, and I had to hustle and, so that was resilience.
Yeah.
And I needed to, because when we visited their thoughts, I was like,
But
let me say where the balance is. So I've talked about how
the times now have changed.
So we would get proper sleep. But I remember many times, because what my mom would do is she'd get a taxi driver to come and pick us up. But many times they would have issues, and I would take myself and my sister to school. And for those who are very familiar with Jos, I would take from my house to View, because I went to Alama Private School. Then from View, I would take to, I can't remember, is it Rukuba Road now, what you call it? You stop there, then you now take another taxi, if you're lucky, there's a taxi, and I walk with my sister all the way. And I've had incidences where, someone with a nice car would say, come and join me, because that particular area is quite quiet. Come and join us. And you remember all the stories that they teach you. You remember then was when you pick up yam, when you pick up money, you turn to yam. So there were times like that. So yes, I built up resilience, but I think also that I got enough sleep to develop my brain to be able to be resilient in that way. Do you understand? So,
because there wasn't traffic like that. Even transit now, Nima will tell you, for you to do that transit to Ilupeju, you'll be spending almost over an hour. Then it was in like 30 minutes in school, so there wasn't traffic. The times have changed.
Yeah. And I remember also that we would have to sometimes, because my mom would think my grandma picked us, grandma thinks auntie picked us. No one shows up.
For you.
And we will walk from that school back into town, and it's many, many hours. But I used to hear my mom, she would be so shocked, like, I'm so sorry I put you people through this. It was something she didn't want us to go through.
Let me quickly take Margaret's phone call. Margaret, welcome to the show. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, am I on to your
Yes, you are live.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can I make my contribution?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. My concern is on the issue of getting our children early for school. I'm a mother of 3, and my last child is 19 years. So I had a decision with my husband not to get the children early to school. So as a result, we made sure that we located good school within our environment. And our children were good for it. They did very well. They are doing A in all of their scores. So what I want to say is that within every environment in Lagos, we have good schools. So parents should consider looking for best schools within their environment so that they don't have to work their children too early. So having said that, I want to suggest that your view should engage a professional child psychologist to come and talk to us parents and future parents on the implication of working their children too early, because I personally see that it does not all go well for the children. I was a teacher for years, teaching the kindergarten class. So I know how it affects the children. Some of them, they spend most of the day sleeping in class, being restless. So that is like, well,
thank you, Margaret.
May I say a little bit about the sleep thing? So, you know, because of the brain development of children, they're supposed to sleep nothing less than 8 hours. More, if you can, yes. If you can afford more for them, 10 hours for children. Then adults, 8 hours, 7 hours. What we can do. So the thing is, I like to work based on the reality that I face. There's an ideal way to everybody wants to live, but there's a reality of what is. And if you keep making your decisions based on what it should be, you will be missing out on what you have right now. So I like to find ways that we can make these children regain back their sleep. So I've noticed something about my kids. Not all of them have the same sleeping patterns. 2 of them don't like to wake up in the morning. They took that from me. But my son is different. My son, whether you touch him or not, by 6 is up. He can't sleep more than 6. So his sleeping pattern, the waking up early to go to school doesn't affect him. He's already wired that way naturally. But you see those 2 girls, if you leave them on the bed, they're like their mother, they will stay there till 12. So in the morning, it's always a battle. But what I do is, immediately they come back from school, I make sure they have their siesta. To mark up the time that they have lost. Available. Yeah, till I can find ways to sort them out. Now they are grown, they are in school and all of that. I think it's being leveled.
Let me quickly take this call from Osen. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the show.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, for me, I read about children and how much sleep is good for them. So when I had my first child, myself and my husband, we had to sit down and wait. I was working in a place that I had to work Sunday to Sunday, and my husband was a banker. So we wait, I had to resign. For me, I'm more particular about my child getting that sleep. And I've trained them in such a way. My children are in the same school with Sokwe. My children get to school, but I don't wake up my child. I ensure they get their sleep. It's not so easy, but it affects the children. You see some children in school, they are not bringing out the best in them. I don't know, maybe like the last caller said, if we can get school closer to our children, it will be okay. I learned of someone that will get the child ready, leave the child with the gate man, for school bus to come and pick the child from the gate man. What are we looking for? We should try and consider. Our children's health is very important.
During the
so thank you. Please, I want to take it. I want us to head somewhere. When I traveled the first time, there's a particular family I stayed with, and I felt they could afford to stay in a bigger place. They were staying in a really small house, and they said they deliberately chose that house because that district has good schools within reach, and for them, if they move like 2 hours away from that location, that money they pay for rent would have gotten them a bigger house, but they would have had issues with the quality of school they had access to. So I wrote down, you need to think about safety, location, and when they are thinking of where they want to, and schools, when they are thinking of where they want to live.
Environments where they live, it's better to own. So when the lockdown and schools issues happen, myself and my friend, the distributor for Ama Wonders in Lagos, we decided that, we should move to schools closer to home. She quickly moved her kids. And within the first semester, she just moved them back.
So, Nima, that's what I'm saying. That parents should be aware before they become parents.
We own our properties. We own our properties, and it's not economically viable for us to go rent and pay in the areas where we are looking for schools. So sometimes
some people make those
reality.
So, Nima, I get you, and I want you to learn. But we're talking to people that. We're talking to different class of people. People that are not married yet, they are thinking of getting married. So if you're thinking of getting married, just let me make
positive what you call a bad situation might be positive.
Yes, I know. So we have people that they are thinking, where can I get married?
Yeah.
And they're thinking, I'm looking for the most affordable place. Yeah. And we're telling them now, while you are thinking affordability, look at, do you like the schools in those areas? Would you want your children to be there? Number one. How safe is that area for you? Some areas you will not go there even though it will make sense for you financially because you are thinking of the life of your children. But if you now find yourself, if life has happened to you, you are in a place, you're trying to make the best of what you have around. That's the situation where your example comes in, where you will analyze, okay, this child, you will survive anyhow, we'll make it work.
There was something I wanted to explain when you were talking about, no matter how scary the situation you're in is, maybe you should just have a positive mindset. So when I was 2008, when I wrote my GC, my form, you know the way we used to buy form. Wherever you buy form, you get percent. Yes. My dad was in VI and NPC at the time. He bought the form in VI and we sent to Lagos Island and we lived in Ojo in Iba.
Imagine.
So my mom just went berserk that how can they how can this one, this particular one, because I was younger, my older sister, both of us were writing. How can this tiny one? I was so and write GC on the island. She didn't leave island, you know, and they had an argument. I remember it was heated. Did you know that I wrote my GC on Breadfruit Street in Lagos Island, Larry Balogu Market, and I became a businesswoman within a year when I wrote my WAEC. Because I just loved the way the market women were haggling prices, carrying goods and everything. I would carry my bag, buy my goods, and before I got admission, I was already selling things. Sometimes the mindset you should have is not that one of fear. My dad, because of that argument, would, okay, I will walk them. After a while, take bus, go and write your exam. So it's not always bad. No, that fear you have. I'm just saying, I'm saying if your situation is that you could not help yourself, create your most positive mindset, leave your child.
Giving that example where you talk about people moving to better school districts, I've also seen as well where you travel, where parents will come together and have like an arrangement. A parent will come a parent will come pick up all the children and take them to one parent's house, and then all the other parents who are working after a while can come and pick up their children. So these are for parents that had to, so they had to build. So they found different creative ways to get to the schools that they wanted for their children. But you know, behind the scenes, we're talking about being resilient, and that some of the life experiences we go through is what will help our children to grow to be resilient. But also, I think that many times we confuse thriving and surviving. We want our children to thrive. We want them to succeed. We want them to do well. But then there's this hustling mentality. That's not thriving. You know, you put the child almost on like a danger alert. That's how that child is brought. Yes, that's how that child is brought up. The child has been groomed and grown in very harsh realities, that he grows up into an adult that is just always, you know, alert and does not really have like good social skills. And many times, I mean, especially around here in Lagos, screaming and shouting at each other in traffic and everything, it must count for something with the way people are raised in Lagos. You know, when you come, if you are not raised in Lagos, they'll be like, why are you so calm? And just like, you okay? But when you meet Lagos people, they are screaming and shouting at you. Everybody, it's the way you raise Lagosians.
Yakub's score. Honestly, you are 100%
I need to share this joke.
100%. Sorry. I knew how to time a bus. Moluwe is emotion. At a point in my life, I can jump on Moluwe and I will not fall. Like I was a pro. But these are skills that Mariam does not understand.
I will never get on the Moluwe. The first time I came to Lagos to write my WAEC, I was right at Ogba Agege area there. There's one school that we're meant to go. So I was supposed to take a bus. Nobody took me now. They just showed me where to go. I kept asking people on the road with you would just have a JJ. I was waiting for a bus to normal human beings to stop for me to get in.
Everybody was jumping in.
One leg was just inside the bus when the guy moved. I was bruised. Like I was so injured. I sat down in the bus. I was crying. I don't like Lagos. I want to go back to Asaba.
Take my kids on bus and Okada.
We had this call. Let's take this call before I lose it. Welcome, Abigail. Welcome to the show. Abike. Abike, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Antinima. Hey,
this for your
a child at a child of 2 years old at 4 a.m. That is just so wrong. At 2 a.m. I mean 4 a.m.
Haba. No, that's
We can't
bad. Cinema koda.
Abike, honestly, don't so that we don't seem. Nima was being very honest.
We will survive. We will survive. My child, I wanted to take her outside the barracks, but my husband was like, no, you will see them in the bus, especially that Lakija road that is bad. You will see them sleeping in the bus, sometimes traffic, and when it's raining season, oh God, it's too bad. I said, no, I don't want my child to go to school in the barracks. He said, no, the school is good. Finally, when we put her in the school at the barracks, I saw the changes, and she was among the best in her class. So, no matter what, no matter where you find yourself, it depends on the way you bring that child will still be the best.
Yeah.
Not waking a child. 2-year-old child at 4 a.m.
I understand. Abike,
she was 1 year 4 months when I woke her at 4.
Let me say something, please. I wouldn't like us to make parents start feeling guilty.
Guilty.
Because sometimes
but we need
life
to
hands
No.
you lemons.
I love what Abike
and you
did.
no, hold on.
No, I love
life hands you lemons, and you just have to make lemonade out of it.
Are we not selfish?
Hold on.
Are parents not selfish about their goals?
No, it's not about goals. When you're starting life, is it goal you're looking at?
Yes.
How many of us
Are selfish about their goals?
It's not about goals. It's
about
about trying to survive and trying to get a better life. Say, no parent wants to release their children that early in the morning. Did you hear the pain she was using to explain what she went through? No parent
made a choice.
No parent wants that. But at the beginning of your life, where you are still, gathering yourself together because you want a better life for not just yourself, but for that child, there are some sacrifices you have to make. There are some things that have to give. If you are coming from a place where the foundation is there, the cash is there, and all of that, you wouldn't want to take. No, hold on. There are people who are struggling. Excuse me. There are people who are struggling to feed. There are people who do not have good jobs. They are just managing what they can. So you don't put it on them and say you could have just stayed at home. We will stay at home in that house and drink gari.
But there's a myriad. There's still so many choices.
Welcome, Oluwaseyi from Kaduna. I hear you, but let me take Oluwaseyi Kaduna from Kaduna. Are you still there?
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We can hear you. You're live. Go ahead, please.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. I love the topic you are talking this morning. Though at times life, but just as we should think of our children's health and future. Because of this lack of nutrition, children at very tender age are already obese. When children don't sleep very early, don't have good night sleep, just because the parents are busy, one way or the other, either now or in future, it will have one health issue. They say they have health issues. We should just please everything that there are no life at home, Nigeria, but to try to fix our children.
Oluwaseyi, I'm sorry, I'm not hearing you well, but I sort of try to get your point, which is that children should be allowed to sleep. So
let me
I'm trying to
say
draw the line
about
between
what
sacrifice, hustle, and sometimes we make sacrifices. Many, and I feel bad that the burden comes to women. Many women have sacrificed their dreams, their ambition because they want to raise children, which is why I understood when Mariam was saying that, considering what she knows now, she would have thought, do I really want to have children? Because when you think about the cost of raising good children and the responsibility of a parent, a good parent, it is a huge sacrifice. Yes, I know you are still making a sacrifice now. All of us are making it. But the burden is more skewed on the woman. Yes, the woman will leave her job.
See, I really don't care who carries the burden. I take 100% responsibility for my children. It's their father's business if he wants to do the same. But for me, I don't want to have the argument of whose responsibility it is. Now me birth my pikin. I will do anything. I'm that kind of mother for my child. So Abike was correct. She was even a year 4 months when I used to take her at 4 a.m. When she was 2, I was reducing it part-time because every time I'm finding ways out of how to do it. So as a parent, your consent should be 100% the interest of that child. So she's correct. If I flog myself, the way she's flogging me, I felt like flogging myself again. Because that child, I think I just wanted to make
You saw an opportunity.
I wanted to make success of myself. It could have been anything else. But at that time, it was very important for me to not be a nobody. And whether it affected my child, the options I had was also restricted. I could have taken her, and my mom would have adopted her, no problems. But it wasn't an option at the time. Some factors kept hindering all of that. And I kept being selfish. So now I know better. No matter whatever interest is at play, if my child's interest is affected, that person can go and kill themselves. That's where it is now. It's true because
let's take Anthony from Akurede and we'll continue. But you know she's learnt, and I'm happy that you're saying that. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning, first time caller, Josh.
Good to have you.
I see, we as parents, I appreciate all you ladies are doing here, and I'll give you kudos for it. You should not castigate Halima. She's just doing what she wants to do to make sure they get the best of the situation.
Yeah.
But really, the truth about it is this. Our parents give us the opportunity to learn on the rope.
Yeah.
But these days, we are being overprotective about our children.
Yeah.
We are not allowing them to live life. We are not allowing them to experience what it is to be able to weather. So that is when the challenge comes. They will not be able to face it because they are not experienced.
Thank you, my
but
brother.
we have those experiences. So I pray God will help us all.
Amen.
And it is.
Sorry,
May I you were going to add something?
Mariam, I've not heard from Mariam in a while.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to talk about, what we're saying. Don't make some parents feel bad. Don't make them feel guilty. And I do not think that's what this conversation is about. That sometimes you are not aware of the options that you can take or some of the choices that you could make. And Nima is a very good example where she's saying, I have learned and I've repaired from that, So yesterday we had a guest who was talking about some of the things that women do. And really it may come from a place of selfishness almost. So you want a particular school for your child, not because it's inherently is better than where your community school is, but because it's a type of school with a type of name, snob value. So you make that decision because I want them to say that is where my child goes. Even if you look at it, properly and look at this, compare curriculum, compare styles, the community school may be much better than that school. So we have also so there's an age of materialism as well.
Yes.
So the part of where you said, I didn't want to be a failure at that time, or I had to be a success. That's also another thing. When we talk about, parents before, mothers before, they would make sacrifices. This is what people were referring to. That they put their dreams aside, they put that need to be successful. Yes, and got insulted for it. But the children are well-groomed, well-rounded. And that's the thing. So that is what we're saying, that while the selfishness, materialism may also be affecting our choices. So sometimes not always the choice is not always because things are, there's no food, things are difficult. It's that, no, I need to make a statement and I need to show that this is these are the sort of places that my children go to school and this is the sort of people that we are.
Or
in spite of your,
I can also make
at the detriment of the development of your own child.
Yes, you see, and it's a development issue because growing up for any human being is in stages. You miss a particular stage and you want to make it up later. Milestone. These are my own personal battles, Sha. Because I feel that there's a stage in life. I see my son now. My daughter, once I say go to bed, she goes, her head touches the pillows, she's gone. Because she has to wake up early. She knows. But on a normal weekend, she doesn't get up till 10. She's still there. I'm not going anywhere, mommy. I just want to sleep. But my son wakes up every day 6 a.m. Same time. His sleep pattern. As mommy is waking up, because I usually start with my classes at 4 a.m. I'll be listening to them as I'm cooking and everything. My son will be moving around with me. Because he knows that I wake up when I like. She had to adjust. And for me, I wonder all the time, what would have happened to my daughter if that stage was well taken care of? Do you understand?
No, Nima, please don't worry about that, because let's not forget. Don't worry about that. Let's not forget that people have their sleep. See, there are some things that are natural. That's why some people will say, I'm a night person or I'm a morning person.
This is not
so
true.
you can.
But we will not come be the one teach them.
No, not be you
not
teach them.
Yeah.
Not your decision.
Let me pick Emmanuel's call. We're having lots of phone calls, male and female. Welcome to the show, Emmanuel. Thanks for joining us. Hello, Emmanuel. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Taco.
Did you grow up in Jos?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah,
Arasaki.
I'm a first caller.
Welcome.
wow.
First time caller.
It's from Kaduna.
Place. All right.
We are in Lagos. Our body is hot.
I'm actually a fan of your program.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to contribute
All right.
to the topic.
All
I
right.
actually, most parents these days, they always try to live an idealistic way of life than the realistic aspect of life.
Thank you.
You now find out that maybe you watch a movie or you have an idea the way the wife take care of their kids. And at the end of the day, you now find out that the realistic aspect of life in the country you live is not really suiting to the way you live your life. But the only thing we need to do as parents is just to face the realistic aspect of life. You may have the money, okay, security, raping, and the rest of it. You just need to face it. Instead of you trying to say, okay, you have the money, you don't want to go to this school and all of that. Remember, I used to trek for like 4 kilometers to school. But today, I started paying my own school fees when I was in secondary school. And today, my dad is no longer. But I do everything. I have my own business. I'm going for my master's and all of that. And I'm about getting married. So I just felt we need to face reality. We need to face the realistic aspect of life.
Okay, so,
I wanted to present
safety,
a little some options for parents. So when I talk about parents that don't have a choice, I'm focusing solely on parents that are trying to survive, not those ones that want to do Pepe Body, show that my child is in this school and all of that. But there are options. There are schools, the importance of sleep for the children, and so they have nap time in the classes. So especially for nursery school, children, there's a time that they allow the children to sleep for 1 hour. You know, I've seen
always
some
done that,
schools,
actually.
not all of where we grew up. I did not see anything like that. See, which kind of sleep that?
There was sleep time.
They have their baby quilts and all of that. Then there are also other options like homeschooling. So I did a conference, I think 2 years ago, where some mothers came together and they got experts on homeschooling, talking about how they would like to homeschool their children. They were training them on. So these are other options that we can, if you see that the way life is going and we can't afford to do this because of for the development of the child. If you feel that you are in a place where one person can handle the finances and another person sits back at home to take care of the children, you can also look at other options of homeschooling. And
but
all
busy,
of
that homeschooling you're talking about, if you're talking of the and survive, homeschooling may not work for that parent because you're saying you're referring to people who are trying to survive.
So I gave you another option. I
But
said, if you know,
homeschooling can also be at any time. I used to take my kids in the evenings because my time in the mornings are not mine. So in the evening, whenever I come back, I take them personally.
But do you put into the picture the times that your children are most alert?
Alert.
So that's it. So homeschool is not the fact that I'm at home and I can tell them, read this book.
No. We're just exploring options. And I said, if one person can handle the finances and you see there's a need for one person to stay at home for your children, you can also explore that.
Good morning, Bola. Welcome to the show. Hello. Hello.
Bola Pepe.
She's not there.
We have Bola from London. Are you there? If you're not, let's talk about safety.
Let's take tweets, please. Okay, we have so many tweets. Ogbanje says,
Ogbanje.
Twitter people.
Ogbanje Small Witch. She says, this madam, he posted the result, a very excellent result of a child with 94.3% entire result. And says, this madam wakes up at 6:30 a.m., gets set before 7 a.m. Assembly is 7:10 a.m. Classes start at 7:30 a.m. Distance from home school is, if we throw stone, it will land the roof of the school. Shikena, less sleep damages brain of a child. I must attest to this. The moment we added 1 hour
extra sleep.
So my daughter sleep. She got prize.
Yeah. Okay.
So
no, there's benefits
for her. I asked the teacher.
Bola program. I couldn't hear her. I didn't know that Bola was still there.
Hello,
Bola, are you still there?
I want to contribute to the program.
Please go ahead.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Oh, yeah, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Bola.
I'm calling from the UK.
Welcome to the show.
Hi, Bola.
Bola from UK.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to say, the topic you're speaking about is unfortunate that that's what Nigeria has become, you know. Most of the things you guys are going through there now in Nigeria, unfortunately, it is the economy, you know. When the government don't provide better society, that's what it results into. So the children tend to suffer because no appropriate facility in town. But well done, guys, for everything you're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I got through to you today.
Oh, we're happy
to have you.
got through to us as well. Kechi,
Tweets.
yes, says, it is good to raise a child well. Get a school close to your community. How do you know a good school? It is not too healthy to put a child on the road by 4 or 5 a.m., especially little children. Most of us parents didn't attend school at 2 years old. Reality matters, though. So that thing, what he said about some of us didn't attend school at 2 years. You know, when I was coming to work today, and I was just thinking about my child and his reading, and I now realized that in primary 1, he was 5 years old. And I thought, why?
Too early.
Too early.
Yeah, I agree.
And he was, you know, the year starts in September, and it started maybe a few days or a few weeks before his birthday. And I was just thinking, then for me it was important that, okay, he's finished, so he should go off to primary school. But then I also remember that he had some challenges. Do you understand? And the reason I'm thinking this way is because I'm doing the parenting course, which is telling me that there are some reasons behind a child's behavior. The child's behavior is a signal to what is happening.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, yes, oh, he was reading quickly, he was doing well in school, but socially there were some things I thought were not quite...
He hadn't matured for the class.
Yes, 5 years for me, right now as I am, I think 5 years is too early to be in primary school.
So I had an option to take my last baby. So I started, so your background also helps you. Me, I didn't go to any, I went to Otakara, I went to a very local school.
You did, yeah.
With a kind of slate and board, yes. I do very local rags, you know, and all of that. So, but when I started teaching, I started from an international school, and I was I did Montessori as well, and I was exposed to certain things where children are graded in classes not by what they can do, but according to their age, because there's a maturity you reach to enter a class. So when we came back, and I had to take my daughter back to one of those schools, she was supposed to, they had changed the system because of the Nigerian system. So at 5, she was actually supposed to be in year 1. I now said, you people know me now. Can you recognize me? I worked here before, please. Take her to nursery 2 at 5 because she's not mature to be. And I did the same thing for my first daughter. Had to do primary 6 2 times because I wanted her to reach the right age before moving to secondary school. And she was very big. I fought with my father-in-law seriously. No, she's too big. Why would you allow her repeat? She
the
passed,
brain
right?
is still that age.
I'm like, forget the size.
Exactly.
Because of what I know, this is the right thing to do. So let's talk about. Rush. I wanted to quickly.
Don't rush your children.
Yes. Abroad, this abroad that we like so much. They
cannot put your children in exactly.
To school.
Yes,
you don't get into primary till you're 6.
Nursery is 6.
Exactly.
In Finland, Wura was saying to me that I was pushing my son too much.
Too much.
Leave him.
So there's that maturity that they need to get to so that everything will fall in line. Here, 2 years.
I just realized that we're out of time on the show. Like,
You're joking.
100%. We are 100% out of time. You have learned a lot, every one of you.
There's more that I want to talk about.
Yes, you've learned a lot. We've learned a lot about the show. The tweets are there. Go on Twitter and read the tweets. You will learn. If you just join the show, you should watch the entire show again and again. But one of the important things that I think we learned today is as parents, our life and what we do matters. It affects our children. It affects the next generation. We should take deliberate efforts to make the sacrifices necessary, empower ourselves with the knowledge needed so that we can give our children opportunity to thrive and not strive. Strive.
To thrive and not just
thrive.
survive.
Yeah, and not be surviving. Thank you all so much for your time. See you next week. Bye.